the shortstop, Duncan Smalls, the third baseman, pardon me, is batting in fifth spot. Lindsey Kirchhoff, the designated player, batting sixth. William Thomason, the center fielder, batting seventh. Javier Frost, the left fielder, batting eighth. And Hisaya Chipapi, the catcher, batting ninth. Tidima Kakana is the pitcher tonight, and he'll be sitting on the bench, not batting, as he'll just be worried about the defense. On the American side, Eric Ochoa, the right fielder. Pat Sagdahl is the center fielder. Matt Ratliff in right. Kevin Castillo at third. Gil Sines at short. Tyler Dudley at second. Matt Palazzo at first. Nick Mullins does the catching. Tony Mancha on the mound starting. Derek Zekman is the DP for this afternoon. Mancha coming into the game with a record of 1-2. His ERA a little bit higher than he'd like at 7.5. He's allowed 10 earned runs on 12 innings on 13 hits. Of course, got banged around a little bit in that game against Canada.
Talking with head coach Danny Bruckert earlier today, and he's hoping to get a little bit of work for each one of the three pitchers in tonight's game if the situation warrants it.
So Mancha all ready to go with the toss down to second base, and our leadoff batter will be Pamolo Palati. And as a team, Joe, South Africa not really known as the power team, only 4 home runs combined so far in 6 games.
Yes, that seems to be one of their weaknesses. They just don't see the exposure of the good pitching on a consistent basis. Yes, you saw that Botswana team here. I'm sure they had a few exhibition games before they came over, but to see it on a consistent basis is tough.
And away we go as Mancha's first offering is high for a ball.
Our umpiring crew behind home plate, Mike Morrissey from Canada. At first base, Nobuhiro Endo from Japan. Second base, Gary Skirvin from Canada. Third base, Tony Kiaruna from New Zealand. Handling substitutes today, Jason Carter from Australia. On the clock, Toyomatsu Tabanuki from Japan.
And Mancha delivers a strike to push the count to 2-1. South Africa had an interesting trip this morning. Representatives were taken to the local radio station for an interview and chatting about their experiences here in Whitehorse, Yukon, I'm pretty sure. So getting a little flair for the Canadian media. Here's Palati with the 2-2 count. And Mancha having a little bit of a challenge here, finding the strike zone early.
Yeah, it just needs to work with catcher Nick Mullins, making sure that he hits the target. Mullins pretty well centering that glove right now.
Swing and a miss, and Palati will go down swinging, so that'll bring up Christopher Bond, the second baseman. The thing about this type of game, Joe, is with the U.S., the pitcher shouldn't feel that he has to strike out 21 batters. You have a defense behind you. You know they're not a power threat either.
Yes, exactly. The United States team has played very good defense all week. They've been relying a lot lately on their bats, so getting some big hits in these last couple of days, so they hope to continue on with that torrid pace.
And the second baseman for South Africa sporting those nifty socks that have become a bit of a fan favorite here around the park. They would be excellent for my son's ball team, who carry the same colors back in Listowel, Ontario. And a 1-1 count, 1-2 count now on the batter. Mancha can't find that third strike there.
Diamonds are in superb condition here. Grounds crew done an excellent job.
Yeah, a little bit of on and off rain as Bond swings through it for strikeout number 2 in the inning. Sasabi Molakwani coming up to the plate now, the right fielder. Yeah, the rain on and off throughout the afternoon, kind of hot and cold all day, depending on if the sunshine is out, but games have been on schedule. There's one right down the middle.
Silabi Molokani, 5 for 13, 1 home run and 4 RBIs. One of the big sticks on this team.
Canada was able to get by India 11-0 in a run-ahead game on diamond number 2. Venezuela, the same score over Great Britain earlier, and Australia took care of Hong Kong 10-0 as that ball's fouled off. So a few teams sporting shutouts through the day. In fact, Joe, all the games up until this point have been shutouts. Czech Republic winning 20-0 over Turkey, and New Zealand 7-0 over Botswana. Whoa, look out. A little bit of a...
This is game 54 in the pool play. Game 55, you'll see Japan against Denmark. In game 56, the final game of pool, Dominican Republic against Argentina tonight here on Diamond 1.
2-2 pitch coming in, swing and a miss, and that will do it. As Mancha strikes out all 3 South African batters that he's faced. And zeros across the board for South Africa. We'll head to the bottom of the first inning. Matt Ratliff due up for the U.S. along with Derek Zekman and Matt Palazzo. More coming up on Sports Canada TV.
After half inning complete, no runs on no hits, no errors. The score 0 for South Africa. Team USA coming up. 96.1 FM The Rush is the official radio station of the 2017 WBSC Men's World Championship. Tune in for all the latest championship coverage or listen online at ekrw.com. Please join us in thanking our community sponsors, the City of Whitehorse, Mid-Mac Toyota, North of 60 Petro, Pizza Hut, and Total Track Yukon.
We go to the bottom of the first inning, and a little bit of drizzle here has started, actually more than a drizzle, as a steady rainfall here in the bottom of the first inning. And on the mound is Tidema Kakana. Thought maybe a lightning streak flashed across the sky, but it was just our photographer testing her flash diffuser. So we're all okay. Leading off the bottom of the first inning, Matt Ratliff will step to the plate. It's going to be Ratliff, followed by the designated player Derek Zekman. The first baseman Matt Palazzo bats third. Eric Ochoa batting fourth, the left fielder. The second baseman Tyler Dudley has cooled off a little bit. He's batting fifth. Pat Sagdahl batting sixth. Nick Mullins, the catcher, batting seventh. Kevin Castillo, the third baseman, batting eighth. And Gil Signs batting ninth. The shortstop Mancha just doing the pitching tonight and no batting. The South African defensive setup, Javier Frost in left, William Thomason in center, Selsabi Molokwani in right, Duncan Small at third, Brandon Bouillon at short, Christopher Bond at second, Pimolo Palati at first, Isaiah Chapapi will be the catcher, and Tidema Kakana, of course, throwing. And he's had some work, Joe. 19 innings so far in this tournament, but he sports the 0-3 record and the .853 ERA, giving up 18 earned runs.
Yes, he's been the workhorse, though. He's been the guy that's taken the brunt of the ball all week. He had 9 walks and 19 strikeouts in those 19 innings. So he's learning along the week, and he's picked up little tidbits of information here and there. He attended the one pitching clinic put on by Adam Fulcart.
Ratliff stands in, 2-1 now on the batter. The umbrellas are out in the stands.
Coats are going back on. They were off. They're on.
It's like me in a restaurant trying to pick out what I want to eat. Can't make up my mind. 2-2 pitch comes in. That slap towards second base. Nice play. and they'll get the leadoff hitter here, 4-3. And Kakana looked like he was going to try to go to that ball, but whether he heard his second baseman calling off, nonetheless, he let it go to the second baseman to make the play, which was a much better idea than him trying to stretch it out.
That's correct. Christopher Bond charged that ball, too. That was the only way he was going to get Matt Ratliff at first base.
So Zekman steps in, the designated player. We talked about South Africa's power game with only 4 home runs as a team. The U.S. has only hit 10 in their 6 games so far.
One of the amazing stats when I was looking at the stats program was they've driven in 43 runs, and 42 have been RBI, so that means they're hitting in very clutch situations.
Well, one of those big clutch games back earlier on in the round robin, Joe, when the U.S. Nipped Australia 2-1, and that's a big game there that's affected the standings up until this point. And now Tidama Kakana in trouble here with Zekman. We'll see if Zekman's told to take a pitch, or if it's close, whether or not he'll swing. And he won't offer it that one. A walk for Zekman, and Palazzo, the first baseman, will come up to the plate. Over on the other diamond, Japan and Denmark, slated to start at 5:30 later on. Japan needs to win that game in order to keep pace with New Zealand and Venezuela. But a very strong team, ranked number 2 in the world at this point coming into the tournament, and should be able to handle Denmark. Denmark needs to win that game in order to advance into the championship round, right now held by the Czech Republic.
Nice location on that ball by Kakani. Just kept it low out in the outside corner of that strike zone.
And Kakana with another nice pitch location there. And we, throughout the week, Joe, heard about pitch sequences too. As much as the pitcher's throwing it in there, the catcher and the bench, creating a sequence to find out what the batters haven't been able to handle. And there's the swinging strikeout, and it looks like they called a pretty good sequence there.
Yeah. Matt Palazzo had just been hitting up a storm the last couple of games too, so it's important that Palazzo stays on that roll if this United States team wants to get rolling. Palazzo, the team captain of Team USA.
Eric Ochoa coming up to the plate, the left fielder.
Ochoa 5 for 11, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, 455 batting average.
Right now leading the U.S. in that statistical category. Sometimes too, Joe, and we saw it early this morning with the game between the Czech Republic and Turkey, is watching the batters trying to get adjusted to the slower velocity. Kakana throwing pretty good, but I'm sure his speed not up to an Adam Folkard or.
No, they'll have to adjust, and they'll make those adjustments. Usually it's very hard that first time through the order. They usually pick up and adjust and adapt on that second time.
And Ochoa with the big cut. Sometimes, too, trying to shorten up the swing a little bit and just drive the ball as opposed to trying to park it.
Full grip on Ochoa here.
Morrissey will clean that plate off. It's been swept a few times throughout this day. They'll waste a pitch there trying to get Ochoa to chase. Won't do it.
Good waste pitch there.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. And that will erase the USA in the top of the first. So no hits, no runs. A batter walked, and he was stranded on first. We go to the top of the second inning, scoreless here between South Africa and the USA. More to come on Sports Canada TV.
The Rush, and Standard Bus Yukon.
We go to the top of the second inning. Brandon Bouillon, the shortstop's going to step up to the plate.
Bouillon stayed in that number 4 hole all week. He's been struggling a bit, but the coach is staying with the same strategy.
Well, if there's any time to break out, Joe, now would be the time. Mancha back out for his second inning of work. An off-speed pitch there will fool Bouillon as he goes back to the bench, and Duncan Small now, the third baseman, will step into the box.
It's been pretty easy to score this South Africa side of the score sheet so far. 4 strikeouts for Tony Mancha.
Attempted bunt by Small did not work. Well, even in the bottom of the first, Joe, talking about it off air, being patient, and it seems both teams up at the plate right now not patient at all.
Both teams very eager. Both teams want to stay on that roll of winning, and you want to get that winning attitude going into the playoff rounds.
As South Africa's last couple of contests, they beat India yesterday 6-2. They beat Hong Kong 10-0 on Tuesday. So a couple wins. And they held Argentina to just 6 runs when they faced each other midweek. 6-1 the score there. So last day of round robin play here at the 2017 WBSC Men's Softball World Championship. Getting ready for the playoffs, which will start tomorrow. The placement pool A7 versus B8 will take place at 10 a.m. And then the first championship pool game will be 11:30 tomorrow morning.
This South Africa team did not participate in the ISF WBSC tournament in Saskatoon, but they've appeared 8 times starting in 1968 with the program. Their highest finish was 7th in 1976.
And a punch out for Mancha as Small goes down looking. He tried to start dashing towards first base, but Mike Morrissey not having anything to do with it. Lindsey Kirchhoff will now come to the plate. Designated player for the U.S. today.
South Africa looking for that first blemish on this score sheet.
Mancha seemed to have found his groove after the first inning. Maybe trying to do a little too much, now settling in and throwing hard. Just missed low there. Kirchhoff couldn't catch up to that one. Slap to the second baseman, and it's off his wrist, and Kirchhoff is aboard. Second baseman Tyler Dudley tried to take the long way around the ball to get himself in position for an easier throw instead of playing the short hop straight on, and I believe that's going to be scored as an error.
That'll be interesting to see what they come up with at the end of the inning. I thought it was a pretty hard hit ball by Lindsey Kirchhoff, so we'll see how they judge it at the end of the inning here. We are not the official scorekeepers here.
No, we are not scorekeepers in the other building to our right. And now it's William Thomason up to the plate, the center fielder, 2 away in this inning. So we got a 1-2 count now on the batter. South Africa with its first base runner of the game as they went down in order back in the first. Haven't seen too many teams try to steal through the tournament, Joe, but if I'm South Africa, I'd be thinking about sending a guy, even though if you get the third out at second, you're in a position where you got to make something happen.
Exactly, you're putting the ball in play.
And there you go, driven up the middle, going to third, no. And Kirchhoff's back in as he dove into second base. Pat Sagdahl came up cleanly with the ball and got it in right away. And runners at first and second as Thomason hits a solid single up the gut.
Sagdahl picking that ball up and firing it to Gil Signs. Lindsey Kirchhoff kind of rounding that bag and just about one step too far and had to work his way back.
Javier Frost now, the left fielder in the box for South Africa, a runner in scoring position. And Mancha drives it right in there. There's a punch, deep left field, 3-run home run. South Africa leads 3-0.
Big punch there by the number 8 hitter for South Africa, Javier Frost, the left fielder. Big punch there. Two gentlemen, Lindsey Kirchhoff and William Thompson, both scoring in front of Frost and driving in the first 3 runs of the ball game.
Well, it goes back to that play to the second baseman, Joe. Lindsey Kirchhoff, a hard hit, and Tyler Dudley couldn't handle it cleanly, and there was 2 out at the time. That stretched out the inning. Solid single, and then a 3-run shot. That brings up Isaiah Chipapi to the plate. You never want an inning to extend when you can make a play because things then happen.
That's right. You open the door up for many other situations to arise.
So here's Chipapi, the catcher for the South African squad. And Mancha will take care of the inning himself. Chapapi down on strikes, but not before South Africa takes a 3-0 lead. They get 2 hits, 3 runs, score, and we go to the bottom of the second inning. More to come on Sports Canada TV.
For all your 2017 WBSC Men's World Championship merchandise, from hats to sweaters, t-shirts to duffel bags, visit the official souvenir booth located in building number 2, just off the grass picnic area. Skip the hassle of looking for a parking spot at the park. There's a free shuttle from several different hotels downtown to the Pepsi Softball Center. For the locations and shuttle schedule, check out 2017mensworldsoftball.com under visitors.
We go to the bottom of the second inning, and the U.S. will send up Tyler Dudley, Pat Sagdahl, and Nick Mullins to the plate. They're 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Tyler Dudley started off with the hot sticks, kind of cooled off a little bit.
Yes, he's quieted right down lately. Some other sticks have stepped in. Eric Ochoa has a big stick, and Marcus Stamp, Pat Sagdahl, too, has been on a bit of a roll. So we'll see if these bats can pick it up. United States need to find a reply to the 3 runs put on the board by South Africa.
Yeah, sometimes, Joe, you come to a game a little too relaxed maybe. Got to get that competitive edge back into the fray, and it's going to be Tyler Dudley trying to do that here against Tidama Kakana. The South African pitcher faced 4 batters back in the first inning, gave up a walk, struck out 2.
That one just missed the mascot there.
Ball was a little wet. So we mentioned earlier, Joe, that all the other games so far today have been shutouts. I highly doubt the U.S. will carry a 0. But a good pitch by Kakana there.
This South Africa team is fired up. A little bit of a target on this United States team back right now.
And Dudley swung at ball 4, sails out of play. Flip side of that, Joe, is if you're a team and you lose a couple close runs coming up into a game that you feel you can be a little competitive in, you can, step up the play, get a bounce, and
again, all it takes is a little bit of a drive and a little bit of positive notes put into your system with that 3-run shot by Javier Frost. That gives that little bit of confidence boost to the South Africa team. Tyler Dudley trying to get on base here for United States. Here in the bottom of the second inning.
And he gets punched out, caught looking, and he'll take a seat. And Pat Sagdahl's going to come up to the plate.
You have to be willing to fight off that pitch with 2 strikes. You got to protect anything that's near that plate.
So the center fielder, Sagdahl, coming up. He'll offer at that pitch. Home plate umpire Mike Morrissey calling it himself. South Africa will not advance to the championship pool. They'll get into the placement pool play. Bunted down. Chapapi comes up, makes a throw, not in time, as Sagdahl moved down the line very, very quickly. The only danger there for Chapapi, he had to make a good throw and not throw it down the right field line.
That's correct. Real good play there by Chapapi to get out. Good bounce by him. make it a close play, but the great wheels of Sagdahl down that line.
So with the infield hit, Nick Mullins now coming up to the plate, the catcher, and getting instruction from the umpire not to step too far out of the batter's box. His back foot right on that line. Catcher trying to readjust. See, they try to get back of the box as far as possible. So if you're South Africa, what you don't want to do here, Joe, is let the U.S. come back in the bottom of the inning after scoring 3.
You just do not want to give any extra outs in this situation. You want to shut the door and let your bats do some talking in the next time at bat.
Rain falling steadily here this afternoon. It's been an on-off day weather-wise. Kakana just missing on that one. Pretty good crowd here for the U.S. versus South Africa. And that just missed outside. Kakana wanted that one. As you can see, some of the Team Canada members, after their game, filing in to catch a couple of innings of this one. Team Canada going undefeated in round-robin play, so congratulations. Mullins walks. That'll push Sagdahl to second base, and Kevin Castillo comes up to the plate, the third baseman.
Again, South Africa opening that door now with a single and back, and then a walk. Runners on first and second, 1 out.
Change of speeds there by Kakana fools Castillo. And that's in for a strike.
Kakana just has to be very careful here. Castillo and Signs, the number 8, number 9 hitter. Yeah, they're batting down there, but they're good sticks.
And Kakana falling over a little bit as he planted that landing foot. Fouled off as Castillo able to stay alive. We have a guest coming on soon, Joe, scheduled to come on today. The umpire-in-chief for the World Championships.
Bob Stanton's coming on?
Bob Stanton is scheduled to come on at some point.
Okay.
We'll chat about the umpires and how they get there, how they're selected, but the rain falling a little heavier here, so we'll have to keep an eye on the umpires on the field and the officials to see what they call. We've had one rain delay this week. We calling New Zealand and Japan, and that was one of the late games, and it was halted. 3-2 pitch, and that slips out of the pitcher's hand, and that will load the bases for the U.S. here. Second walk issued by Kakana, and Gil Sign stepping out to the plate. There is one out in the inning, and the ball's a little hard to grip onto. Kakana now talking to his coach, the catcher coming up as well.
Well, the door has been opened now for the United States. We'll see if they can take advantage of this situation.
Organizers want to get all the round robin games in today so they can start fresh tomorrow morning with the championship and placement pool games. Consolation round. That comes in for a strike. And look at that. After the trip to the pitcher's circle, Kakana comes back with 2 strikes.
Whatever he said, it was very inspirational.
Change of speeds gets signs for the second out of the inning. So now Matt Ratliff comes up to the plate. Grounded out to the second baseman in the first, the leadoff hitter. So bases loaded for the U.S. on a single and 2 walks. And now we're going to get a pinch runner in.
No, not a pinch runner. 2 out for the catcher.
Catcher, thank you. Gil Signs will go out and run for the catcher, Nick Mullins. Good catch, Joe. Nowhere to put Ratliff. Kakana's going to have to pitch to him.
This is the United States' chance to get back in this game after being down 3 runs. Bases are loaded, 2 down. Bottom of second inning.
The other point about this part of the lineup, Joe, you're into the top, so if you lose Ratliff, now you got 2, 3, and 4.
And it's second time through the order, too.
That slam to the second baseman, bobbled, thrown to first, and they got him. So Christopher Bond stays with the play, and he makes the clean throw to first base, and the States strand 3. And South Africa going to the bats to the top of the third, leading 3-0. More coming up on Sports Canada TV.
Join the conversation on social media. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the 2017 Men's World Softball or on Twitter at WBSC Men's 2017. Use the hashtag WBSC Men's 2017 for all your posts. We have quite a few spectators who have traveled here from various parts of the globe to witness the 2017 Men's Softball World Championship. Welcome to Canada and welcome to Whitehorse. We're glad to have you.
The rain falling a little heavier now as we go to the top of the third inning. Top of the lineup, Pomolo Pilati for South Africa was a strikeout victim back in the first inning. Went down swinging. Mancha out for his third inning of work, and Pilati swinging through it. So the U.S. strands 3, leaving the bases loaded. Couldn't push anybody across with just 1 out and sacks full. Again, a loss to the U.S. won't hurt them in the sense of making the championship pool, but
it will help them achieve that second life. If they happen to win, they're still in contention for that second life with a tie-breaking formula.
And as our colleague Lance Wynn says, as a former player, you want to win that last pool game, carry some momentum into the next round.
Exactly. You don't want to walk into that playoff pool with a losing momentum there or an attitude problem that maybe you struggled a little bit in that last game. You're going to go in with second thoughts.
Home plate umpire Mike Morrissey changing balls, trying to keep things dry, but the rain continuing to fall, as you can see on the screen. Pilati has not done well as he strikes out for the second time this afternoon. And we're going to get a rain delay here, Joe. Mike Morrissey popping out from behind home plate, and that's it. And I think a good call. Give it a few minutes. Ball's a little slick. The grass can get pretty slick for outfielders. We saw Thomas Anoka from New Zealand slip as he tried to charge a fly ball in the rain delay with Japan there. So we'll take a little bit of a break. We'll come back in a couple of minutes, but right now a rain delay, and we'll collect our thoughts and share some ideas in just a moment. More to come on Sports Canada TV. Three runs for South Africa coming in the top of the second inning on a Javier Frost three-run blast. We said coming into the game, South Africa had only hit 4 home runs as a team in 6 days, and they pounce on a Mancha pitch to go up 3-0, and Mancha's first delivery nowhere near the strike zone. My question is, how long are they going to keep on going if the catcher has to drive the ball every time it's to the backstop?
We're going to have to see how that scenario plays out here.
Bond with a swing and a miss. Tough, too, for the tournament organizers because, bottom line, you got to get these games in before it gets dark. You want to carry as little as possible to the next day.
Bond's, sorry, go ahead.
When I say dark, I know you get a lot of light, but if it stays cloudy and continues to rain, it's a little difficult.
Might be 2 in the morning. Bond been a good stick for this South Africa team coming out of that 2-hole. 7 for 17 with 2 doubles and 4 RBIs. Been very consistent up there. Back-to-back strikes, though, now. I've cursed him.
Molakwani coming up to the plate. Strikeout victim back in the first inning. Mancha finding his stride after throwing a couple wild ones. Still 2 more games on the schedule today. Japan and Denmark, and Dominican Republic and Argentina. That's the highlight game of the day today. Big playoff implications there. Shot towards the middle. Dudley, turnaround throw, and they get him. And a nice play by Dudley there to stay with the ball and erase Molakwani on the 4-3 toss. So 3 up, 3 down for South Africa in the top of the third. They still lead by a trio going to the bottom of the third. More coming up on Sports Canada TV.
Go to Twitter for current information or to follow games in play. Updates are posted at WBSC Men's 2017.
Going into the bottom of the third inning, and Kakana back on the field to pitch to the U.S., and it will be the second hitter in the lineup, Derek Zekman, followed by Matt Palazzo and Eric Ochoa. Zekman taking a walk in the second inning, was stranded as part of the bases loaded U.S. attempt. And Kakana starting things off on the right foot.
Kakana been doing a good job staying ahead in the count, not getting behind. Just the two walks now.
South African bench being very exuberant. Momentum's amazing thing, Joe. Once you start to get on a roll and it just seems to naturally flow.
80% of this game's in your head, they was told.
And look at that, strike 3. So Zekman goes down swinging for the first out. Matt Palazzo will now step to the plate. He struck out swinging back in the first.
5th strikeout for Kakana so far here in the 3rd inning.
Still lots of ball to play in the bottom of the 3rd. Palazzo not happy with that call. And now the U.S. coach.
Palazzo got his cut in there. 2 strikes.
High in the air, that's playable. The center fielder calling off his teammates. And Thomason makes the play for the second out of the inning on the high fly ball. And Eric Ochoa coming up to the plate.
That ball would be a lot tougher than what it looks like from here, especially with the rain coming down. You're putting your head up to look at the ball. Rain coming into your eyes and everything, so trying to stay focused on that ball. A good job by Thomason.
Well, I think he was doing the bob and weave, trying to get under it. Keeping your grip as well. And Kakana just on a roll here for South Africa in the bottom of the 3rd. You know, there's those games you play, Joe, in tournaments when you know you don't have a chance to advance to a higher level, but you just feel it, and those are the games you remember when you step forward and play at your best.
Yes, and we talked about the momentum roll, and they're on that roll that we had talked about. So South Africa are playing with a lot of confidence right now, and Kakana is just shooting bullets right now. So we'll see if the United States bats can get a hold of them.
Ochoa with a huge cut. Again, nobody's shortening up their swing, just trying to make contact and get on. It looks like a home run attempt every time.
Well, again, this is second time through the order, so you'd think that they would pick up something on their second time through.
Just staying alive. Ochoa out in front of that. Well, Joe, between the Dutchies, the salt and vinegar chips, the pizzas, the coffees, it's a regular restaurant up here.
Yeah.
Maybe if South Africa scores another 7, we can be out of here in 4 innings. That's going to be fouled off to the third base side. That'll be tough.
Yes.
Two and two count on Ochoa now. And that one rolls in. So there's some patience from Ochoa.
Well, good waist pitch there by Kakana, too. He had 2 strikes on him. So he's up to a full count now.
And Ochoa thinking, what is he going to do?
This is a showdown here.
Punched to right field, but playable. Under it, Mulakwani makes the catch, and the U.S. goes down in order, and South Africa will bat in the top of the fourth with a 3-0 lead. More to come on Sports Canada TV.